Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to PGR4 Platinum Playthrough, and we are up to Chapter 6 in the arcade mode now. Rough Riders is the name of this one, and we're back onto bikes and cars being available, but we're obviously doing the cars in this playthrough, and then going back to do the bikes, so variety of events, but luckily they're looking okay. Couple overtakes, couple eliminators, and also a couple street races. And it's in the B class, so this should be pretty okay, I'd have thought. So we've got Museum Loop in Shanghai for an overtake event. So, can I sort cars only? No, apparently I can't. I don't know which car I haven't used yet. In here, the Joss Supercar. We haven't used that. I did want to try this out, and this looks like an ideal opportunity to do so. That's the word I was looking for. That's similar to the McLaren colour, isn't it? McLaren F1. We shall go for a luminous greeny yellow, and 7 vehicles is the target. Right, in the rain as well. Hopefully this should do it. It's very good at handling this car. Not the quickest, but quick enough for this sort of event, I'd have thought. And we're against G-Class cars to overtake. This is certainly different using this car for this one, because I think we've done this in the F-Class before. Completely destroyed the Lotus. Is it a Lotus? I want to say it's like the Cortina, maybe, or something. They are right in the way. Of course they will be. It's not going particularly well so far. Every time I come to a corner, they are there. Why can't I overtake one on the straight? I don't think this is going particularly well so far. Just about avoiding that one, though. In fact, we've only got 9 seconds left. I don't even know where the last one is. Oh, it's over there. It's not going to do it. Let's go for a dirty dive bomb. Oh, just look at that. 2/10. Dirty dive bomb paid off. That was a terrible race from me. Crashed into the back of 3 of them. But luckily, it's fairly good, that car, for that sort of thing. So, yeah. Right, so that one wasn't too bad at all. Eliminator in London now, the Bulldog. I think we're actually getting down to most of the cars being used now. Aerial Atom, JP1, SR3 Turbo. Just looking at what we have here. I'll use one of these. I will use one of these. I think the JP Halma Sport is slightly better. JP1. Try that out. Right, hopefully there's not too many long straights, which I don't believe there is on this track. This car's not bad up until 170 miles an hour, I want to say. Somewhere around there. But we've got to get out of last. Whoa, bit of freezing going on there. Getting bullied by the MC12. A lot of skidding going on this track. Obviously, this is nowhere near as good as the 288 Evo and the Enzo. It's whether we can actually get past them at any point. God, they absolutely annihilate me on the straights. I'm going to have to try and go around the inside of them on these things. Avoid the puddle if possible. That car in front is disappearing. The Enzo's gone back past me. Okay. Where did that oversteer come from then? That was awful. I think this is too much of a tough task, and the bloody Maserati's going past now. Right. Got around the inside of them there. That might be the XJ in front, actually, looking at it. This was a terrible idea. It's so weak, this car, as is the SR3 Turbo, as is the Aerial Atom. But on the heels of these guys now. Oh, it's the Zonda F that's in front, actually. These guys are fighting each other. Good for me. Not good for me because he's blocking me. Oh no, the 288's in front now. That is never a good thing. But we take that very well. He's still going to outdo me though for pace. Cut on the inside of him. This is a proper challenge. Oh, you little bitch. Oh. What an absolute pain in the arse. Well, I kind of deserved that for blocking, but I'm not touching these cars again. I'm determined to do it in this race, but Jesus, they are so bad. There's not even that many straights on here. I'm not even getting towards the top speed. I think I did get to nearly 170 mile an hour at one point. But other than that, it's just so weak. Had that in the bag otherwise. Oh, bloody hell. Right, 4th position. I think that's better than we were last time at this point. I mean, it handles beautifully, brakes beautifully, but it's just so slow compared to these guys. You can outbrake them. And there's the Joss, and as long as that 288's not in front, I'm happy. And they go to the right of that puddle every time. Right, I'll get in the slipstream just to have any chance of staying on them. And we've gone out the slipstream now. I braked on the curb there. I knew that Joss was going to get completely in the way. Ah, it's not how I wanted it. I have no choice but to try and keep the speed as much as possible through the corners, and when they're right in the way, it's just impossible. Right, 2nd place. Zonda to go. This is not looking good though, because the Enzo's right behind me. Oh, Christ. Oh, these puddles are doing my head in. This car is capable of going like full whack around quite a few corners, but the wet track is really taking its toll. Oh, God. I'm absolutely sabotaging myself because I could do this. This might be another restart now. I have to drive well through the whole thing, and I'm afraid I haven't been doing that. This Enzo's going to catch right up. That Zonda's going to pull away. And I cannot let the Enzo past. Nearly happened again, the spin out. And I braked too late. Right, I've got a few corners to go to catch the Zonda up. That was nice. Right, come on, I could possibly do this, depending on how this bit goes. Right, I'm going to sneak around the inside of him. Then use 19 seconds worth of blocking. Hopefully no spinach. Not the vegetable. As in getting spun out. Oh, that was nice. Come on. Oh, jeez. That was stressful. That was very stressful. That is just a an advert of how bad these cars are. There's 3. There's this, the SR3 Turbo, and the Aerial Atom. It's just don't use them, basically. Even though I might use another one just for the hell of it, because it is quite fun. Right. that was a bit more stressful than it needed to be. But an overtake in Tokyo, we could potentially use the SR3 Turbo now. I absolutely hate the aerolatum. I think this has actually got better acceleration, according to this, but I can't remember which is actually quicker. But the aerolatum is actually horrible to drive. It's got very weird handling. It's very twitchy. We'll take that in orange, use this for this, and just see what happens. Right, in the snow. Kind of. Well, it's a wet track with snow falling anyway. I mean, doesn't appear to be that many straights yet. It's definitely icy. Definitely icy. Oh god, this is affecting everything. I didn't look that icy. It's like a light dusting of snow, isn't it? But I didn't think there'd be quite this many straights on this. Oh, this has just gone awfully so far. Right, I'm just gonna, yeah. Yeah. It's a bit slidey. A bit too slidey. Considering this is meant to be very grippy, this car. Right, that's better. I have to go even slower through there than normal. And I turned it a bit late there, but a million times better than the previous start. And let's try not ramming into the back of this Caterham this time. I'm not even catching him up that quick. That's how bad this car is. And it's a Caterham, for God's sake. Like the worst top speed on the planet. Slower than the mighty tortoise. Right, that wasn't so bad. Oh, I just stopped turning completely then. Don't know what happened. Some very weird things going on with this road surface. Back round for a lap. And there is actually more straights in this than I anticipated. Right, yeah, I don't know how we're going to do on this, to be honest. This slippy road is really adding to the challenge. But I'm thinking because this car is so bad in a straight line, it might not be possible. So this may be the first one I have to change car in. Although I may have done that before, actually, to be fair. 2 more cars to go. That Z06 is definitely better in a straight line than this. God, it's that bit. There's definitely an ice patch there, because it happened last time. It's an invisible ice, black ice or something. It's going to ruin it, although I can see the last car. Going past something, maybe the DBS. It might not be that bad, actually. And past the Viper, actually. Surprisingly okay with a few crashes in there. It's lucky there weren't like really long straights, otherwise that would have struggled like hell. But SR3 and the JP1 used, I suppose I should try and use the aerolatum. But not in Las Vegas. And Quebec's not really ideal for it either. Right, Eliminator. Las Vegas. I'm going to use the XJ22OS because we only briefly used that in the Gotham series. Gotham Career, whatever you call it. Let's go in silver. Right. And the SR3 Turbo and the JP1 right at the front as well, which is quite funny. This car is actually very good in the class. Once you get it going, of course, terrible off the line. But quite a few of the good cars in this class are. Brakes are nowhere near as good. There's loads of these other kind of cars in this one. The go-kart cars is what I'm trying to say. Really got to be gentle with this thing compared to them cars, though. We should be fine once we get onto a straight. This thing just lumbers through these corners. God. Much earlier on the brakes, much more delicate with the throttle. But much quicker. Maybe I should ease the atom on this. Because them guys are getting the power down, but as soon as we get on that back straight, we should be alright. Jesus, this thing... What the hell's this? Antarctica in the middle of the road. That is mental. Right, now let's unleash all of the mighty horses. And this is when this thing just absolutely rips up everything. What is this? Oh, it's an Eliminator, isn't it? I'm actually on the wrong side of the road. I braked just about in time there. You really have to brake very early. I've definitely been on this track because it's basically the entire of Las Vegas. Knew that was going to happen. Very heavy feeling this, especially in the snow. It's not really doing it justice. Really do have to brake early. You need a calendar when you look at braking on with this. Way too close to the apex here. Right, only a few to get eliminated now. That was way too late on the brakes, as you can see. This is epic, though. This is actually probably the quickest car in the class. Once it gets going. The 288 is very quick, but it runs out a little bit towards the top end. Whereas this is very strong at the top end. I can literally put none of the power down until we're facing in a straight line. Otherwise, it's Spin City. Boy, this ice is ridiculous. Nice power slide there. I'll add to it, why not? I think we're quite far ahead. I've actually really enjoyed this chapter so far. They've been quite fun races. Using different cars. It's nice, it's a nice challenge. Obviously it's nowhere near the level of PGR2 where you have to use the best car. But it's still challenging enough to make you sweat at some points. And I think we're halfway through there now. Oh no, sorry, we're more than halfway. We've got 2 left. Which is Street Race in Macau. And I think there are fairly long straights there. We haven't used the Ultima and we haven't used the Atom. The Aerial Atom. And I think we've used every other car in the class. They've both got straights though, really. I'll try the Ultima out on this one, I think. That's better in a straight line than the other lot. We haven't had a green car in a while. Let's go with that. Oh, there's some strong cars in this. XJ, the Rough, and the 288 at the top there. This may be a challenge. Oh, crikey, this turns in quickly. And that is the difference between this and the XJ. This is a handling beast, the XJ not so much. Well, he's getting eliminated, isn't he? With a broken neck. Oh god, this is absolutely miles different to drive. It's fairly quick, actually. Like I said, in PGR3, it was very, very good. That was actually nearly nice, if I didn't hit there. We have got 4 cars ahead of us, though. Not looking particularly good, and the fog is not helping me, and I'm not helping myself. I think I may have screwed this early on. And this is... What the hell am I doing? Yeah, just not good so far. Yeah, I need to give myself a better chance than that. Get used to the Ultima's handling. Very, very good handling car. Right. Oh, jeez, that was even worse than the first time. Okay, third time. It's always the charm. That's what I always say. But sometimes, it doesn't work out that way. Right, much better. Still crashing into the barrier, though. And get in the head of the rough, at least for this corner. Try not to crash into the Murcielago. Oh, nice and on the inside of the RT12. And this is much quicker than the other ones we've been using. Still turns in really quickly, though. I need to get used to that. Yeah, that was not a good series of corners there. Need to remember that corner as well. That's coming out of nowhere. We have got 3 laps though. So I really need to do some catching up on the straights here. But it's probably not going to happen. So the corners are where we're going to do the business. Oh man, I'm not doing so well. This fog is making it really difficult. I'm still not used to the handling. Those guys are gone in first and second. I said third time's a charm. I don't think it is. Jeez, those guys have absolutely gone. That has to be Ferraris. Right, that was very nice through there. Actually get some distance on the rough. That's a bit late on the brakes, a bit slidey. Can I make the greatest comeback? God, I cannot do that section of the track at all. Oh man, this is painful. I can see them ahead though, so that's one bonus. But I'm going to lose some time down here. Right, much better, much better. Oh man, that car in front is disappearing. I can see second place. I wanted the challenge. But I think it's defeated me. It's not enough, is it? I need to get ahead ASAP if I try again. There's just... a B class is actually fairly unbalanced. They're just too quick, some of these cars. Well, I've caught up to the GTO, and I can see first place. But I'm going to lose all my time down here. Oh, it was a good effort. It was a good effort. I'm actually quite stubborn like this. If I pick a car and I can't do it, I keep trying it until I do it. I think that was the exception on one other track and event where I remember I did change the car, but I can't quite remember which one it was. Just got to try not to crash into the inside only barriers or into the back of a Murcielago. Ultima actually keeps up with the RT12 up to before it changes to 5th gear. It's quite impressive. Right, I'm much closer to these guys now. The GTO's in front. Might as well just try and get in the draft zone because these guys are going to disappear down here. It's actually quite a hard section to do this without crashing face first. As you can see, they backed off a little bit. Brake. Well, I'm second, holding up this guy. And all my time is going to disappear down here. Because the 288 is ridiculous in a straight line, and so is the XJ220. Get out of the way. There we go, right. Get him out of the way. Focus on this dude. Oh, I was going to hit the wall then. Damn. Oh no, I've given him an invite to get back in. Oh, that was good. I'm so determined to do this in this car. Get out of the way. Oh, I forgot to change gear. What an idiot. Right, I'm actually in the lead. Can you believe it? And we've got a lap to go. It's a really good car, this. It's just not quick enough in a straight line towards the top end like those guys are. It's not even slow at that speed. They're just quick. That is definitely the way of looking at it. Even third, I think, around there. Right, a lap. A lap to try and drive quickly. No, we're doing it. We're doing it. Oops, went a bit wide there. Oh no. You have to take that quickly, but It's quite risky. I'm just so paranoid watching behind me at this point. Seem to do that bit quite consistently now, though. It's one thing. That's a hard little section as well. I'm growing to like Macau a bit more. I think we just overused it in the World Series. I keep forgetting what it's called. Gotham Career, that's it. Yeah, I feel like we overdid the track a little bit in there. There's a lot of the A class and B class championships are in Macau. And finally, with better driving, we've actually prevailed against the speedy boys and the handling boy. So there's one event left to go. I was going to try and use the aerial atom, but I'm not sure now. That's a good idea. 10,000. I think we've only got one bike pack to buy, and that's all the vehicles in the game bought, you know, so definitely get there. Right, that took a lot longer than expected. Do I use the aerial atom? That is not a good idea, is it, at all? Not a good idea at all, which is precisely why we're going to do it. Lost it. And this only changes the trim colour, if I remember. Yes, it does. That looks nice and green as well, actually. Right. Oh, motorbikes and SR3 turbos and all sorts in this. This might have been actually the race to do this on, because they're all in go-karts as well, and bikes. Interesting. How do they decide which cars go in then? Is it based on which cars you choose? Oh, that bike is actually pinning me to the wall. This car is the worst handling car in the game. It really understeers, and you let go of the power, and it completely just... I can't explain it. Like, understeers big time, and then you let go of the power, and then it oversteers. It's really very odd. That car in first disappearing. Can't get past this bike because it's literally no quicker than it. I actually can't describe how this handles. It's weird. You'd think from the looking at it, it would be the best handling car in the game, because there's literally nothing to it. It's just a go-kart. But I can't get on with it, which is why I always try and avoid it. And I'm driving terribly, can't catch up to this guy. We've got 2 laps. And I'm braking too late, and this car is just annoying. Right, that's a bit better. That's such a poor lap. I'm literally gaining nothing on him. It understeers so badly. I'm literally staying the same distance apart from him. Oh god, I cannot get used to this. I think he did the same thing actually then. Right, that was a bit better. Here we go. In the draft zone now. Come on. Right, that was better. Okay, getting a bit more used to it, but I still hate the thing. Has this all been in the snow, this one? I can't actually remember. Most of them have. The last one might not have been, actually, in Quebec. No. Macau, that's the one. That was awful in the braking. Yeah, I still hate this thing. Oh, thank God that's nearly over. Right, I've used it, that's it. Never again. There we go. There we go. That's that chapter done. Interesting chapter. Used a few of the weird cars. B class as well, so some of the quick guys. Right, so that's chapter 6, Rough Riders, done. So we move on to chapter 7 in the next episode. It's actually A class as well. Speed Challenge, Breakthrough, Street Race, Hot Lap, Eliminator. So that'll be more interesting. A few more difficult ones. Hot Laps are always more difficult, and the Speed Challenges. But getting towards the end of the chapters before we start the bikes. But that's going to be the end of the episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed, as always, and I will see you in Flat Out.